Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ejiro Edugoro. I have lived with sickle cell for 40 years. So I'm going to be talking about sickle cell. Sickle cell anemia. The genotype you hear and people call SS. The one that people dread and say, oh, don't marry them. They won't live long. They're going to die young and all of that. Let's talk about this thing. Do they really die young? What causes the crisis? What is the thing that really goes on? Now, the doctors have said when the cell sickles, every other person's cell is different. Yes, we have the normal cells, but lack of oxygen and some other things, factors, causes them to sickle and they have this C shape and block the veins. So blood flow is not going, oxygen is not flowing properly. At that point, we begin to have bone pains. Now, growing up to meet myself and realize that, oh, this is a genotype I had. Yeah, I just knew that my parents took care of me. My first conscious crisis I had was when I was 5. At the age of 5, I can still remember the situation, how I had to sit in the room on my parents' bed crying. They had all gone to the parlor to eat, but I was just in the room in pains, taking drugs. I was just singing and singing. Fine, I somehow the pains averted, but that was my first conscious experience of sickle cell crisis before every other one will always happen. And because I didn't understand my body, I didn't know when I was going to break down or whether I'm not breaking down until suddenly I just break down and I'm like, oh, I have a bone pain and I'm in pains, I'm crying, and trying to, my parents are trying to attend to me. Then my dad would use paracetamol and Velvin then in the house, and hot cup of tea. They use hot water bottle for the spot that is hotting, and then they use massage. Now, what worked on all those periods? Because these things are not still out of fashion, knowing that some families can still afford medical treatment. Does the hot rub actually work? I would say it's a no-no. The hot rub is a no-no because the bone pain is different from when you hit your leg against a stone or a chair or something. That bone pain is different. When you rub that hot rub on the pain, on this pain, sometimes it feels like you have tiny pins hitting at your bone. Now, when you put hot rub on it, and in the course of massage, probably there's relief. But as soon as you remove your hand from that bone, from that spot that is aching, it begins to absorb cold air. The hot increases, the pain increases, means the cry multiplies. Then that didn't ever work. So, but the hot water bottle wrapped in a cloth because we don't want hot water spilling from the bottle. I'll show you the bottle in the next episode. Some people don't know it. I've met people who don't know that there's something like that exists. So we wrap it in the cloth and drop it on the spot that hurts. It could soothe the pain. Yeah, some people use it in these days for menstrual pain. So we use that. Then we're using Felvin. Does Felvin hold pain? I think it depends on the threshold of the person, the ability to bear pain. In my case, I have very, very low threshold for pain. So, but then we used it that way before we started going to the health center, before we started going to the hospital every now and then, or getting admission in the hospital during a crisis. And so they have their ways to handle it these days in the hospital. The doctors have drugs too. That in short, the first time I took the drug, it was like magic. Wow, you mean what I live with, the hell I have lived with for years, could be could be numb in few seconds. They have painkillers of all sorts that they can use to control these pains. So they advise you go to the hospital. Why should you go to the hospital rather than doing over the counter treatment or treatment in the house? It's You need to know what exactly is wrong with you. It may not just be cold pain because of cold. It could be an infection, bacterial infection. It could be caused by malaria. So you need to run your test. You need to know what exactly is wrong. Then to then they know what exactly to do for you. Now, one thing I have realized from my years and even from other sickle cell people I've worked with, it is funny how the crisis starts when it is almost the period for salary, when your dad or your mom should be getting the salary. I know a girl that her father literally said she was an Obanji. She was an that's how they saw it. So my advice is, you know that this person usually will fall sick probably at the end of the month. For ladies, because of their menstrual period, it could stress them. When you see that you're approaching your period, one thing I would advise is, no, go and run a test. Just do your checkup. FBC, MP, malaria parasites, full blood count. Tell the doctor. You just need to know that you are free of bacterial infections and you are free of malaria, so that there's nothing to trigger it in the process of having your menstrual period, because the menstrual period could be very stressful on the body. I used to break down after my periods before. Then I would fall ill and I have to be admitted after a menstrual flow. Sometimes your PCV is low, your period comes, then you have a low, then you break down. Sometimes it's just the stress of the period that pushes it, and then maybe there was little malaria somewhere, it triggers it, or bacterial infection somewhere, it triggers it, or there's a cold, it triggers it. So I would say, go to the hospital, find out what if your body is okay. As I was running, I had to run a monthly checkup at some point just to avoid the admission bed, because it's the more I felt sick, the more admissions I had, the more it interrupted my life. So I had to learn to go to the hospital to run tests to know if I was fine or not, what to be done, what not to do. The doctors will tell you. And my parents were people that, my mom, my dad, they paid attention to drugs given to me. They see how I react with the drugs that I'm taking. If they feel it's not okay, they go back to the doctors. The drugs that doctors had to continue for me. So I cannot recommend that you don't take this, you don't take that. You take it, you watch your body, you know how it works for you. If it's not working for you, you tell your doctor. You own your body. You should understand your body. You should know your body. Mommy, daddy, you have a child that is sickle cell. You own it for now, as long as that child is young, for you to understand, study the child. Now, I don't want you to live with the life of fear. Now putting fear in the child every now and then is, are you fine? Are you okay? Hello, that thing has a way of disrupting the child's mind. I used to you call it love, you call it care. For me, I once had that experience. There was someone, she cared genuinely. Every time she sees me, hope you're fine, oh, hope you're okay, hope you're this. It affected me. So every time I see her coming, I'm dodging, because I wanted to have a positive mindset. It's all about being positive, a positive mindset. Now, as parents, you need to run a positive mindset for the sake of your child. Teach your child how to be positive about life. My dad taught me to be positive. He taught me to use faith. My father, I practically say my father was my first faith teacher. He taught me scriptures, yes. But when you know the Bible and you don't know how to use it, it is still useless. So you say them, you believe it, and it becomes part of you. If you think, okay, she don't take on spiritual, let us even go to the law of attraction. It's what you call that you attract, that comes to you. If you're not attracting, it doesn't come. So you need to be positive about all that you're doing. Be intentional about life. Be intentional. Sure, there are times I'll be on the bed, I feel like I'm going to be giving up, but I am telling myself, I'm not going to die. You have to be intentional. You have to be positive. You can't say that you are sickle cell and so therefore life has ended. Life is not ending nowhere, my dear. You can live to 60. You can live to 90. It all depends on your mindset, depends on your form of healthy living. What pattern of healthy living routine are you following? You need to follow one. So see you in the next episode. Thank you.